Big, big game of the week. Probably the biggest college football game of the year. We said that about Georgia, Alabama last week, but this one all of a sudden felt like maybe more. And it's Vanderbilt taking down Alabama. It hurt me, but everyone else loved to see it. Vanderbilt 40, Bama 35. They were over 20-point dogs. And just, if anything was going to go right for Vanderbilt and any proper decision was going to be made, any play was going to be made, they did it. They brought their A game. Props to Vanderbilt, honestly.
Big props to Vanderbilt. I almost hate calling it an upset because this was total domination from Vanderbilt in all 4 quarters. There was not one point in the game that they didn't have a lead, and the Vanderbilt fans came out of the woodwork. Some of these people I've never seen in my life, but that's what winning does. And this program hasn't had a ton of success with winning. I think they were mostly scoreless against Bama the past couple games, and this game was definitely not one of those, putting up 40 points. The nation still, like, they got to see a glimpse of Diego Pavia, but it was on SEC Network. But if you watch the highlights, and I'm sure everyone did, they learned who this New Mexico State transfer was. We've been beating this drum since week 1, and he really showed that this offense can do a lot under him. I think he brings the best out of AJ Newberry. He brings the best out of Cedric at running back. He had 2 key rushing touchdowns in the first quarter in this game, and then good on Vanderbilt being able to force that turnover early on to make it 14-7.
They took it, went up 14, 0 off that kind of circus pick that they had, and you take advantage of the plays. You get in the receiver's face, you force them to make mistakes, and you get plays like that. And the Vanderbilt offense continuing to do what they did against this Alabama defense is the story. Vanderbilt's defense still did what they needed to do to an extent. I think a lot of people expected Alabama to score more than 35, and they didn't. No critique on the Alabama offense because I think they had a lot of things flowing. But the pick, Miles Capers getting the strip sack on Jalen Milroe, forcing that fumble, that was kind of the turning point in at least my mind and a lot of Alabama fans' minds, where it's like, oh man, like this isn't going to happen. This isn't going to happen for us. Right. So if you can go out there, your offense is firing, you get a play like that, that's great. The offense though for Vanderbilt, I mean, Pavia the offense is designed around him being a decision maker, making the right option read. He saw them, run the pitch option, speed option out to the outside and making those plays. And he made the right decision every single time. 4th and 1, throwing it downfield. It was just, he's on a run to just beat every team in the state of Alabama. He did it last year with Auburn, doing this year with Alabama.
I think you were texting me you're like, Auburn's like, see, I told you. Like,
yeah. I mean, Eli Stowers came over with him from New Mexico State, and he had a day.
I think they were both like top PFF grade guys if I was looking at the rankings properly. Diego Pavia, I mean, over 260 yards in the game. The story is the offense. I can't help but focus on the positives because this is a Vanderbilt segment, and they won and they beat the number 1 team in the nation, something that Georgia couldn't do last week. Georgia State pretty much beat Bama if we're going to go transitive property. But transitive property aside, Vanderbilt is showing us something on offense that, if sustained, could allow them to win some more games in this conference. There's a general feeling around this team that this is a different team this year. And, I think, just there's so many of those moments in this game where you're watching it and you're like, oh, there's no way that they're going to win. But then they make these big plays and you're like, wait, hold on. Like, they're actually doing this. They're actually in this game, right? Like you talked about that 4th and 1 massive 30-yard pass to Coleman Stowers in the end zone there. And that's when it felt like, okay, you go up 30 to 21 or 30 to 23. And it's in their hands. One of the big play, even at the end, it's like, Bama's trying to make these stops, and Cameron Johnson, sophomore from Alabama, makes the biggest catch of his life, the only catch he's made this season, to take the lead at the end. And so there's something to build upon here on the offense. It was obviously just fun to see this goalpost make its way all the way down Broadway. But from a football perspective, what should be the general outlook for Vanderbilt fans with this offense they have there? Because the defense did show some gaps, and we could talk about that too, but offensively.
Yeah, offensively, you're looking ahead. And we said at the beginning of the year, we said Vanderbilt's, they're due to upset an SEC team this year. We said it right at the beginning. They're going to beat some SEC team, and we don't know who it is yet. And it's going to be one, and it's going to be Alabama. And so here it is. And now you're looking ahead for them. and you're kind of looking at, okay, what's the path to the bowl games here? You have Ball State, chalk that one up. I hope chalk that one up, and now you're only looking at 2 more games, and initially you're looking at Kentucky, Auburn, or South Carolina, and you're picking out of there. I think Auburn, for sure there's opportunity there. All 3 of those are winnable games with this offense.
Yep.
Then you have Texas, LSU, and Tennessee, and it's like, okay, maybe we could pick up one of those too. Like we beat Alabama. Who says we can't beat LSU or Tennessee?
Exactly. At this point, it's like how could you say we're not going to beat those teams with what you saw against Alabama? So
yeah, they show something really unique and different, and it's it's not just saying we have a quarterback who can run. Our keys to the game when we previewed this was if you can get out and get Alabama's linebackers out of position, get them away from home where they're not there in the spots that they need to be, catch them on their heels, you could win this game. And they did that. And I think against any team in college football, if you're getting people confused on what's going on, you have a chance to win any game. So I don't think they're counted out for any game for the rest of this year.
I don't think they're counting out for any game for the rest of this year. And I think, if you're able to maintain the ball possession for 42 minutes, 7 of your 9 drives go for over 4 minutes a drive, like you can win a lot of games that way. And it's equally as impressive what Bama was able to do in 17 minutes. And we'll definitely talk about that in the next segment as well.